Microphone check, 1, 2, what is this? It's the 5'7" assassin in the podcast business. I am your host, Rohan Patra, the rap music plug at your service.
Here we are again at the end of a rainbow.
There are few rappers that I truly consider aliens of the rap game. By aliens, I mean rappers whose style feel one of one, incomprehensible, otherworldly. The kind of rapper that sounds good on just about any beat you throw at them. I was honored to be joined by one of said rappers, Mutant Academy's Koncept Jack, who gave us a peek inside the mind of one of rap's most unique lyricists out, period. So listen on and hear how Koncept Jack does what he does. The Rap Music Plug podcast presented by QLC TV is the remedy to the I don't have anything good to listen to problem. Through in-depth album and song reviews, as well as artist interviews and general rap commentary sprinkled in between on all of what the mainstream and underground rap scenes have to offer, this is your one-stop shop to knowing what to add to your queue, play next, or pop into your record player. Welcome to the show. Welcome, Koncept Jack. How are you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. How are you living?
Been one of those weeks, but I have to say that looking forward to this interview has definitely kept me going because you make some of my favorite music out these days. You're like one of my top played artists for the last couple of years now.
Man, thank you. I appreciate that, man. That means a lot for real. Like more than people know. Like hearing that, it never gets old. Like because there's a lot of artists out there. So I just appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel that there's a lot of artists, a lot of music. I feel like music is definitely being made like at a clip that is just unprecedented. But that's why I feel you stand out, because you just got such an electric approach to rap that I just love. And I'm so excited to kind of get into a bit more. So like one of the things that's really clear with your music is you have a certain like lyrical dexterity. You have ability to like bend the English language to your will and do it with a flow that is like borderline dizzying, So how did you get to this point? Like, how did you grow into rapping in the way that you do rap?
Shoot. I mean, other than like the boring answer would be like years and years and years of experience. Like, I've been so intrigued with rap like since I was about, like I really got into it when I was probably about 9 years old, and I'm 29 now, so that's like a 20-year, that's just 20 years in his career, like So I would say just like, just loving the art form, like appreciating the art form, studying the people before me that I've like that were like lyrical, like greats, like all of them, like not just a few, and not just having a favorite, but like loving like a certain element out of everyone, and then like just appreciating that. And then also I feel like gaining like a certain appreciation for the beat itself, and not just rapping to rap. Sometimes I feel like there's been plenty of times where I've written to like without a beat, just wrote like what's on my mind, but the flow part comes in when you actually tailor your like rhyme pattern to the beat, and that's harder. That's harder to do than a lot of people think, like, because sometimes people don't match it very well. Like as far as when people say that like my flow is like a percussion, it's because it's another instrument. I'm using my voice as another instrument. The style that it's going into is like another instrument, like on another level. Like just think like, I guess to put it in like just simple terms. But yeah, I would just basically say like just years of experience, like just practice. I feel like, yeah, like depending on what you're into, you'll like fine tune something until it's just, till it's your thing pretty much. So now I just feel like that's just the way, that's just my style now. Like my way of rapping is like what you described, like just kind of like just rhyme schemes inside of rhyme schemes while flowing into like a greater thing. It's like I don't know, it's like a I don't know how to describe it sometimes, but yeah, you described it pretty well though. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I definitely hear what you're saying about like being appreciating the art form and kind of grabbing elements from your influences, because that's something I really find interesting with you, is that I can't really pinpoint where your style actually comes from. Like I can guess a few artists that you must have liked and took
Mm,
some, but you're not like taking one artist and then modeling your entire career and style based on like one guy, you know?
right.
You're taking little pieces and making, in which when you combine it, it just sounds like you. Like I don't really have, I have really no one that I can compare to. Like I don't know, Lil Wayne, and that's such a lazy, like there's not really much of a comparison other than, I mean, you guys both like really can rap over a lot of things, but that's about it. Like I like how you
Yeah.
said that you let the beat kind of mold you in a way.
Hmm.
So like you, I guess you don't, that's your main kind of approach. You don't usually rap like have acapellas and then look for beats to fit it. You usually like want to hear beats and then write to the beats.
Yeah, that's like my preference. I have acapellas too. I have a
Mm,
lot of verses that are just written verses, like whatever's on my mind, I'm just writing. There's different ways that I'll write, but like the ideal way for me, like if I'm trying to write a song, then I feel like, I'm gonna be led by the beat. And then like, if I like the beat, like I'm fucking with it a lot, like I'm just like really into it, I'll start writing, like tailoring some rhymes to the beat, like specifically to the beat. I feel like doing that is how it's like the key to making sure you don't make the same song like all the time.
mm,
Like, if you're like, you're not actually like rapping to, yeah, the drum per se, but you're rapping to like, you're flowing, you're just trying to find the pockets in that specific beat. And, or me specifically, I'm trying to find the pockets in the specific beat each time. So each time it should sound like a different song because I'm not following like one formula of like a same flow or a same format. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
It should always be something a little like some nuances in each song just because I'm trying to like rap to the beat. And if the beat is not the same as any other beat I rap to, then we'll probably get a good result.
And like, given the fact that you have a pretty, like, to say the least, unique style, are you ever conscious that, like, are you ever conscious of trying to make sure that you're not too dense or too, like, I don't know, out there for the average listener? Like, is that something that is in your mind when you create? Or do you just like, nah, I'm gonna be me, like, regardless and do what I want?
I feel like it's more so like in the process, like where I'll think like that, like in the midst of like writing a verse, it's hard that like sometimes I will think like, okay, this might be too complex, but if it wows me, and I'm a tough critic, then I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna I'm gonna keep it. I feel like not enough people are pushing the art form, like, and I really I love the art form. You know what I'm saying? Like I love money too, and I would love to make millions off the art. But
Mm-hmm.
that's not like the first priority. Like the first thing was to try to be like, honestly, my thing was like I want to be like the best that ever did it. I'm trying to like I studied the greats, so I understand like the things that make you great as a rapper. I feel like even like with a lot of the shit that's out here now, like in the underground and the people covering it, these people don't even understand rap like they should. Like these people who are like have some of these journalist positions and stuff like that. But that's just my opinion. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you know, yeah, I would say that. I
Yeah.
would say yeah.
And like, so you paint a ton of, vivid images in your rhymes, and I find that like one of the things that I love the most about your music. Like how do you usually get inspiration for what you want to write in terms of like the content of it? Like how does that come to you?
I used to ask myself that like a lot. I used to always be like, yo, like where, like, how do I get my inspiration or like where am I gonna be? What am I gonna be inspired by? But it's always like just the simplest stuff, honestly. Like it's just life experience. Like I feel like just going through everyday life because some of the imagery, a lot of the imagery is just like sometimes when I look back or listen back to my own stuff, it's just like sometimes it's like very specific where it's just like a day in the life type thing that you would
Mm-hmm.
catch. Yeah. Sometimes there's like a moment where I'm like, yo, I gotta write about that because that's crazy. And then there's just sometimes where it's just like, as a rapper, you're trying to create like this story. Like, sometimes it just the imagery just pops in my head, like at the sake of rhyming at the same time of trying to like paint a good picture and like leave a memorable line. That's like, I guess, when it happens, like in that space of time or whatever. I feel like, yeah, I would say like life experience, just every day. I don't know, like sometimes it could be like, just being outside and just feeling like, damn, like, my space, my head is clear. It could be like a little, like my little nephew or some shit, just random ass shit, man. Like I'll just randomly feel myself in the zone. And then whenever I do feel that, it's like, I know I got to pick up the computer or try to listen to something, just try to get
Hmm.
it going, keep it going. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you got a kind of skill that I really like from some of my favorite rappers growing up, like Raekwon. I feel like he was one of my favorites when it came to just like he just yeah, sure the actual image or story is probably interesting because he lives a cool life, but like
Mhm.
it was just the way he would just detail certain random intricacies about like what he was wearing or like what was on the table. And it's just like
Yeah,
that
bro.
just sticks with me. I'm just like so invested because he's telling me like the color of these Clark boots or something. Like it's just
Right.
it's that's what makes it special. Like
Detail.
yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
detail is like sometimes you can't think of that. Like there's people who just do that naturally. That's naturally how they think. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to describe it. You ask Ray, like he's a legend. That's like one of my favorite rappers for sure. Like, and I'm blessed to have worked with him on the last project.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
true. Fuck. That's so true. And
surreal.
yeah. Yeah, he's got like that butter soft Perry Ellis leather on that I forget what track that is. I think that's definitely on I think it's Spot Rushers. It's just like I remember now every time I see someone wear Perry Ellis, I just think of that line. And it's like
Yeah.
it's nothing like so complex about it. He's just describing what he's wearing, but it just sticks with me. So what would be like some advice you'd give to up and coming rappers who, want to learn from you or just like be like a great rapper and hone their skills? Like what would you tell them to do?
Or just, just keep studying, studying the art form, like, and you're doing that like subconsciously anyway, just listening to what you like, listening to the new rappers, finding people that if you're a fan of me, you are a fan of like, you're definitely a fan of the art form and you're for like it being pushed forward, or else you'd be listening to like the same underground rappers everybody else listen to that
Yeah.
aren't doing shit. But
Hmm.
there's a select few too that are nice, like, so don't get me wrong. But yeah, I feel like if you I would say just make sure that you are like making what you like, you're not having somebody else in mind as far as like making something that you think somebody else would like or something like that. So, the intentions I feel like first have to be like very pure. Like, you're in it, not saying that you don't want to go into it like not, you know, not tough or not with a chip on your shoulder, but I'm saying it more of a sense is like be original, you can be original and you can find ways to do anything by and be original. Is people gonna fuck with it if you're being yourself? And that's like the first step I would say.
How to be original is kind of another way of putting it because I feel like that would be my answer. It's like don't be another clone of some other rapper because there's too
Right.
much good music out where I'll
Hmm.
just listen to the guy I'm already familiar with, like you got to stand out somehow.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't try to emulate. Like a lot of people when we first start, like you come off emulating, but that shouldn't be on the internet. Then you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
when you're practicing, getting your voice and your like what you want to sound like, right? And you might be sounding like a certain rapper. Like don't put that out. Like listen to that yourself, like mad times, and figure out what you want, like what you want to convey. Like figure out like how you want to sound, like all that. Like don't just blindly start putting shit out just because you decide you want to rap. Like I
Yeah.
mean, that's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like you can do whatever you want, but like I feel like I definitely started off like my first 10, 15 songs were not on the internet. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like kind of sitting just like, like not fanning out over myself, but just like studying like and listening to other stuff too. listening to people that I respected that I thought like were like lyrical greats, and I'm just like, you know, you're not like trying to take the flow or take the style or whatever. You're just understanding what they're doing like over the beat,
Yeah, it's
and
part
then
of the
you can
process.
incorporate. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. When you start doing that, you're really like learning. You're not more so emulating. You're understanding like the science behind it, like as corny as that could sound. But it's for real, it's real shit though. It's a science
Yeah.
behind everything. Yeah.
I think I know I heard this in a song last year or maybe late 2020 when it was like a little skit. Some kind of underground artist. I may have even interviewed them and I forget now, but it was a skit where someone was speaking about how emulation is like part of the process. It's not
Mm-hmm.
the end process though, but it's totally like it's not like whack to like maybe kind of sound like another artist for a little bit, but that's like you
Mm-hmm.
said, like maybe don't release all of that because like even
Mm-hmm.
like like obviously like really high profile artists have gone through that process. A very common example is Kendrick. Like he sounded
Right.
like Wayne a lot, and even some of those like early 2010s or like late 2000s, like some of those freestyles, like I was like, okay, he sounds
Mm-hmm.
like Wayne a lot. And
Yeah.
he was selective with it. He put out a few tracks, like some monster freestyle where it's like, okay, but it was fire, but like you can
Right.
kind of
But
see
you
where
could
it came
tell.
from. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You could like see where it came from. And yeah, exactly. That was like early Kendrick. And like, yeah, I feel like everybody, yeah, goes through some shit where it's like, you might just end up sounding a little bit like the rapper that you thought was the greatest and you're like listening to every day, all day. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm,
so it's nothing like there's nothing wrong with that. Like, but that shouldn't be your end process, like you said. Yeah.
yeah.
If you're really into it and if you really love it and you really want to be like a unique rapper with like respect, then you would have that in your mind already.
Yeah.
That like, yeah, I need to start sounding like, just me. I need to make sure nobody's like I sound like I bring something different to the table, like I don't sound like anybody else. I got my sound. You just really need to start working on your sound. And then I feel like things flow in like naturally
Yeah.
after that.
Yeah.
Whatever you're worried
100%.
about, yeah, whatever part you're worried about, because so much elements to being a rapper or artist. Like you don't have to be this super lyrical, barred out rapper, and there's different ways of being lyrical too. So
Yeah.
so many ways you could spin it, so many directions you can go, but just be like original. I feel like.
Hmm. So I want to get into Mutant Academy for a second. I was honored to have Ewan on a few
That's
weeks
the bro.
back.
That's
Yeah,
my brother.
and
Shout out
he
Elon.
got into Mutant Academy talking about, how like what really makes you guys special, going back to that originality is like your distinct styles. How everybody brings something special, unique to the crew. So talk to us a bit about how, you first linked up with the crew and just generally how that experience has been with you before you.
Okay, so I'm in Richmond, Virginia right now, and like the founders of Mutant Academy are from Richmond, Virginia. Henry Lowe is the founder. Shout out Henry Lowe, and then Anakin was like the second member. I'm pretty sure they like created it to, or
Mm,
they kind of like that was their thing. They created together, but Henny like was like the founder. So I'm gonna give him that credit. Like always, shout out to my bro Henny Lowe, and shout out to my bro Fly Anakin too. But they, it was just them two like early on. Um, and then like we really, it was just a time period like 2012, 2013, like where, we were rapping in Richmond, like there was like a few local rappers, like we were just putting stuff out. I just started putting stuff on SoundCloud not too long ago at that time, 2012, 2013. And then I was, interested in finding out what other rappers were from Richmond, like who else like was really spitting and stuff. And then I ended up coming across people like Silk Money, came across people like Fly Anakin and Henny Low. And I was vibing with them. And then I fucked with Black Cray too. He's not like, lyrical, but I still fuck with Black Cray. I mean, shoot, he's his own, he got his own type of lyrical. He lyrical too. Fuck it. You know what I'm
mm.
saying? But yeah, those was like the like people I was finding around that time. But you know, I ended up I ended up linking with uh Anakin. Like we just DM'd each other like, yo, fuck with your music, like just simple shit like let's build on some shit. You in Richmond, word, I'm in Richmond. we got up one day and first track we made was this track called like Game 7. It was on like one of my early projects that I took off the internet. It's called Operation Live Lab. But that was like the first track we made. And then like after that we became mad cool. Like, you know, we just meshed. We realized like, oh, this track sound hard. Like people on SoundCloud was like really fucking with the track. And then we realized we just had like good ass chemistry. Like so he was making I was sitting with him while he would make beats and stuff sometimes. And you know, I'd write to some shit that he had or whatever, and vice versa. Like, or we sit together listening to beats and just write. And then before we knew it, we just was making a lot of shit together. And it was like evident that we had like good chemistry. Like everybody thought so on the
For
SoundCloud, like
sure.
people like this linking up every time we put a track out. And I like we both fucked with it too, like from a fan perspective. And that was the homie. So like it was just like we just meshed real well. I think that's just what it was. And then um yeah, next thing you know, I think Henny and I got real cool with Henny too, everybody. But yeah, at some point Henny started coming through and I met like Henny and like we were all together. And I'm pretty sure somewhere along the line, like it was like, yo, like you should just be in the group. You know what I'm saying? Like you've been making so much music with us, like let's do it. And I was like, shit, let's do it. Like I felt like a sense of loyalty that I felt like, all right, I'm a, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna go hard for this camp right here. We're gonna, you know, push it to the limit.
No, you
We
guys
gotta
have
just
really
work
repped
it.
it. You guys have really repped it nice. And one thing I found really interesting, just like as you described kind of how it first kind of came up, like how Mutant Academy first was founded,
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting that there's a lot of people in it, right? Like it's not two people, you know, there's a lot of people in the crew. But
Yeah,
the way Ewan described it was the exact same way you did, in the sense that I don't know, maybe I'm just like, I'm not like, obviously I wouldn't know, I'm not in a rap group myself, but I find it
mm-hmm.
interesting that you guys both described and like gave props to Henny and Fly Anakin as being like the real genesis. Like I don't get any jealousy, I don't get any like, well, you know, I really kind of, or like this guy really kind of pushed us forward. Like you guys said
Mm-hmm.
you guys are on the same page, is my point. And that's really cool. It seems
Yeah,
like there's really just like friendly and like all about the music, you
for
know. That's
sure.
that's the vibe I get, and
Yeah,
that's what matters.
for sure. Yeah, exactly, for sure. Like that's all that matters for real at the end of the day. That we that's what made us all become so close and I guess like find each other in the way we did because it
Hmm.
was like we all kind of had that same thought about music. Like we were serious, that level of seriousness and like the respect for music. And yeah, exactly. We uh I expect Ewan, like that's a real nigga all day. So I mean we're just gonna tell it like it is. Yeah, like
Yeah.
they're the founders and yeah, that's how it started. And then I could tell you probably how like every artist got in after that. You know what I'm saying? I remember when every artist got in. I'm pretty sure after that, Ewan was the next member, right? He was the
Mm.
next producer. And then I branched out and at the time I was like I met Unlucky Bastards and Gray Matter and they're brothers. A lot of
Yeah.
people might not know that, but yeah, a lot of people
That's a
do. But
crazy family, crazy talent in that family. Jeez.
honestly,
Wow.
they have like this aunt that's crazy with the art. I'm telling you, their mom is crazy with the like
Oh
hyper
wow.
realism art. Like I'm
Yeah.
telling you, everybody's like talented in that shit.
Yeah.
You know, Gray Matter and Unlucky came in after E1, I want to say, and then I want to say don't don't quote me. It's kind of foggy now, but I know like that was kind of then
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Foisey
totally,
kind of
totally.
came after that. Big
Yeah.
Kahuna came in around the same time. Like Gray Matter came in. I known Big Kahuna since like high school days. That was the homie. Like he
Oh,
had
that's
moved back
sick.
to yeah, he moved back to Richmond and it just like he was the only person I knew since like high school days that was serious about the rap shit like me. So like it was
Mm.
like when I found out he was in Richmond, I'm like, yo, you got to link up with us. Like we got this whole like operation now. Like you know, niggas doing things like trying to get shit going. So I knew he was serious, and he really messed with Gray Matter at the time. So they ended
Hmm.
up making this classic shit, that Ocean Grown tape. But yeah, yep. And
That's
then
cool.
yep.
Yeah, like so speaking of Mutant Academy, one of the projects I know we're before we get into your latest, one of
Mhm.
my personal favorites prior to this new record is your collab with the Ohbliv. JET
Mm.
MagaZIne Reissue 21. Um,
Or
that project, that was the one that I think really got me to love your music, and then from there I kind of really branched off and like just grew a deeper appreciation. But that one was special, and it still is, because you make mincemeat out of the out of beats that like I really don't know if any other rapper could. Like these are some really funky, soulful, romantic beats from Ohbliv that are just like they don't have conventional pockets, to say the least. So tell me how it
yeah,
was
for sure.
working on an album that with a sound like that, and why did you gravitate towards these beats from Ohbliv?
First of all, I want to shout out Ohbliv. He's a legend. That's
Yeah.
also like my brother. But yeah, before I met him, yeah, I looked up to the dude as far as like being in Richmond, like and being a producer that was like just as focused as he is and as nice with it as he is, original with it. So yeah, I admired, been a big fan of Ohbliv for a long time. I feel like part of that is like, part of like why the project turned out so well, because it's like I I I listen to Ohbliv like on its own. Like I'm not just trying to write to his beats. I listen to his beats too, like his beat tape. I
Oh
heard
yeah,
every
he's got some
beat
great
tape.
instrumental projects.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
probably heard every beat tape. There's not one like unheard beat tape from Ohbliv that I've ever heard. So like with that being said, like I study Ohbliv, like that's like my favorite producer. So yeah, like I feel like I some of those beats I might have had for like a while. Like sometimes he'll send me batches of beats randomly, or like mixes of beats where it'll be like 30 minutes long, and he'll be like, "Yo, this is some new shit. Just listen to it." And I'll just listen to it over the time. Like anytime I want to listen to beats, I might come back to it if I haven't used it yet. And yeah, I ended up getting my first few beats from him. He's like in that batch that he sent me, they were like kind of in the vein where it was like, sensual sounding,
Mm-hmm.
like, Black Love type, like Quiet Storm beats. Like, so I was like, all right, I was kind of getting in that vibe with it. And it was like probably like the project before that was a little bit more like tougher and aggressive, like as far as like the beat style. So I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to go back to like sample based, and so I went back to Ohbliv. Like of course, like we was working with that, and I feel like it just came, like all the ideas just came as I started hearing the music, and I'm like, okay, it sounds like this. It reminds me of like Jet Mag, that time period, sort of thing. And then yeah, we just kept making the music, and I was just sending it back to him, emailing it to him, like, yo, this it right here. He'd be like, yo, yeah, that's fire. Like, keep building on that or what have you. And then, yep, then we ended up having that. But I feel
Right.
like the way me and Ohbliv work, it's like always a perpetual thing. Like he's sent me beats after I sent them the project. Like, you know what I'm saying? Then it's like, all right, damn, I got to plot on these beats, because these beats are like another set of just some crazy like shit that I haven't heard from anybody else. Like it has to be out because it's like too unique, you know what I'm saying? Too original and just too crazy with it. Like that's the future. Like so like every time you send me some shit, I'm like, this shit sound like it needs to be out. Like it needs to have like
Man, that is the future.
yeah,
That album's the future, man. Holy shit. Like I was just really impressed by how like because even from Obliv standards, this feels like particularly different even for him. And you guys just like locked in on one kind of idea, and just like it's a project that's what, like 23 minutes or so. It's
right.
just jam-packed, crazy beats, just like you're just in peak form. Like I'm just, and even the cover, like I love the cover. It's my album, it's my laptop background. I just fucking
Oh
so
shit.
it just looks so nice. Like it's just
Appreciate that,
aesthetically
bro.
pleasing, and it just all fits in with that like sensual, romantic, like sunshine kind of feel. Yeah, I just love it so much.
Damn, I appreciate that, man. For real.
Um, yeah, and with that, I want to get into this new project now. And speaking of like producers you made some heat with, there's
Mhm.
one producer I feel like you really connect with on another level, and that's noface. And he's the guy that was honored to have on the show just last week, and he produced the
Mhm.
vast majority of this latest record, HTR Volume 1.
Yes,
So
sir.
so why do you feel that you and noface kind of are on a similar musical wavelength? Because that's the impression I get.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's definitely it. Peace to No Face. Big shout out to No Face. That's the homie too. I feel like me and him just I'm trying to figure out pinpoint like why we mesh so well, but I know that his attention to detail is something that like attention to detail is something we both have. We both are like trying to like not like recreate something that is like that's out already. Like I see that in him. Like sometimes when like there's beats that I've heard from him and I'm like, yeah, like like you can tell, you can tell that people have done their homework and they studied the greats and stuff. But like when there's like a new element like added of shit, and it's like it's showing you like kind of like, okay, this is what the next level is supposed to be like when people, like it just feels like that. Like to me when I hear like No Face's beats, like he's going outside of the box, taking chances with some shit. Some people, everybody might not even like it, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I love his beats, man. I love like him as a producer, you know what I'm saying? I fuck with him heavy. Like I feel like yeah, exactly. Like the fact that the beats are so interesting, like they challenge me as a rapper, like to do some different shit too. Like, and that's like the main thing that I'm trying to do is like create like my own world and also just create shit that is like new, like you know what I'm saying? Like and it's original as hell and very good, honestly. Like so
Yeah.
something that I want to listen to. I'm like, damn, this shit sounds crazy. Yeah, I'm just trying to get that. And No Face got a lot of crazy beats, man. Like for real.
He really does. He really
Yeah.
does. I feel like you guys just, like you said, you kind of just both are kind of that same mind state where you just are down to push the envelope. And
Yeah.
I think he
That's
has
it.
like, because as he was saying when we spoke about preaching in Havana last week, he was saying how like he doesn't he's his the technical shit is like secondary. He already
Mhm.
knows how to execute that. It's like it's all
Right,
about
yeah.
executing whatever vision. Like that's his he very much takes like a feeling, whatever I'm trying to like vibe I'm trying to create is like what he like focuses on, and then the
Right.
technical like what it sounds like is just comes naturally. And I think
Right.
that's kind of like a similar to what you do. Like you can kind of rap over anything. So it's a
Yeah.
great combo.
Yes, sir. For sure.
Um, and one song I really love on this album is Chamber. And I
Mhm.
think that's like one of the best displays of rapping from you that I've heard, because for those that haven't heard it, it's like the same within the same verse, the tempo starts to like get faster and slower all at
Yeah,
the
bro.
same time, and you stay in the pocket. It's just crazy. Like, how does risk taking like that help you improve your craft and just like generally inspire you?
Man, I appreciate that by the way too, because like when I first wrote to that beat, I was like I had that beat for like a year, like probably, and I just knew it was something that was like I don't know, I just knew the beat was like, yo, this beat like needs to be out. Like somebody got to rap on this. Like somebody's got to do something to it. This shit is like got a classic feel to me. So
Was it already like that? Like, did it already come with the tempo shift? Okay. Yeah.
yeah, No Face, he had already sent me the beat like
Yeah,
that, and
that's
it
weird.
was
That's
like
great.
it
It's so
was yeah,
weird.
exactly. It was like just like that. Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
it started off, then it slowed down, then it started speeding up and slowing down. And I was just like, this is crazy. Like so, and then like I had heard something like that similar, like when MF Doom did that shit.
That's
Like
exactly. I was just
yeah,
thinking about no NF doing. It's the only time I like remember this like
that's the
vividly.
only other
Yeah.
time. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
was like I feel like stuff like that is a good way to show that you're a student and without copying. You know what I'm saying? Like we ain't have to use the same beat, we ain't have to use the same sample or nothing like that. It's just something like a nuance that was noticed and that we found out over when we were younger and we like when he sent me that, I knew that he fucked with that type of thing. And because I obviously did when I heard it, I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, and I thought about, the MF Doom shit too, definitely. But yeah, he sent me the beat like that, and then I was just that that one. It took me a while to write to that one, or like I didn't write everything at once. Definitely, like I would probably like write 6 to 8 bars, rehearse, and then like come back like in a day or two, try to like add some bars, like add, just do it like that,
Mm-hmm.
and then I ended up coming up with it. But yeah, that's one of my favorite tracks too on there.
Yeah.
Definitely like
Yeah.
it's
No,
crazy.
that's
Like
definitely one of my favorites. And this album generally just has a great sense of like cohesion and consistency to it. I think that's a lot to do with, having pretty similar producers, but you still have other guys on there too, like Twami, that
Mm.
had a credible beat on this too. So like what was the main thing you were hoping to achieve and just give listeners with this new record?
Um, Shoot, I was just really, I feel like I was just trying to show people like I wanted to create like my own body of work. Like, I mean, I do that a lot, but I wanted to create like another body of work that I felt like was just like, just the vibe I was feeling at the moment. That's like usually what it always is. It's just like, how am I feeling at the time? And like as an artist, you got to reflect on the times and stuff. That's like a big quote. But yeah, like I feel like yeah, just what was going on, like with the type of beats all like reflected, I guess like how I was feeling like or the type of like feel I was trying to go for like in the songs. Um Twami is also like he's in my top producers. He like my second favorite. Him and Ohbliv are like my favorite producers, like
Hmm.
my top producers. So like I was glad to link back over Twami. We got like unreleased things in the vault, but trying to work on some new shit, like trying to keep getting some more shit with Twami and that's like my favorite producer, one of my other favorite producers, like I said, yeah. So like I was excited to get that joint on there. That's one of my favorite tracks too. Like
Yeah.
a lot of the tracks are like I fuck with heavy, and that's what I'm glad about. That's one thing I'm glad about this project is that I actually like go back and listen to it, and not saying I don't on my other ones, but I feel real like super proud about this project,
Yeah.
and just like the recording quality and all that. I went, just trying to step up the recording quality so people could be able to hear it even better. Just like all the like little aspects as far as like mixing and mastering and all that, but also the music itself.
Hmm.
Like I'm really a fan of like, so I'm glad people are receiving it well because this was like one of those things where I feel like I locked in and I was thinking to myself like like I took a chance with some of the sound on here like and went out the box like you said and hopefully people just get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hopefully people get it. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
And
I definitely feel like you took like your sound and definitely if I hear the recording quality and like that kind of shit, like it's feels like because it's especially important with beats that are so kind of like out there and busy sometimes, like it doesn't sound cluttered or like too muddy or anything like that. So yeah,
right.
big props to you for that. Um,
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
so looking to the future now, like who's a producer you'd really want to lock in with on a full project that you haven't yet?
Hmm. Hmm. Let's see. Me and Gray Matter are working on a project. We have never like done a full project yet, but
Yeah,
that's in the works. So
nice.
I would say him, but we're starting to work on one. So that's one. Definitely I would love to do a whole project with Alchemist. Like, there was a
Ooh.
time where like a lot of us were in Alchemist studio. We made the divide that day. It was like all of us, all the people who were on the divide in there. It was like
Hmm.
Earl sweatshirt and there was like his birthday. And then just a lot of people, it's like a lot of artists in the studio. We made that shit, but I just remember like one specific time before, like during that day before, like we started recording, like he was playing so much heat from the MPC, like that, was never heard before. He was playing like unreleased tracks, like Prodigy and Rock Marcy, and like shit was just crazy. Like he was playing hella like new, like just unreleased shit. But he had some beats that was just like, yeah, he was playing from like a certain time period in his career. And I was like, damn, this was like kind of like some of the time, like some of my favorite beats from you, like this style right here.
Hmm.
So I feel like if had a chance to like sit with Al and like I was just like, play me like all the shit. Play me like play me the old shit that you still fuck with. Play me everything. Like I just want to hear everything. Like if you felt like doing that, I felt like yeah, I feel like I could make a crazy project with
Oh
Alchemist.
yeah,
That's definitely one of my favorite producers too. Like he's in my
100%.
top 10. Yeah, yeah. I definitely would love DJ Premier is like top five in
Yeah,
mine
yeah,
too.
yeah.
I would love that's like a bucket list thing, make a project with
Hmm.
DJ Premier. I want to like sit down with these people. Like I don't know how like possible that stuff is nowadays, but to sit down with somebody like DJ Premier, like while he's making beats or like while he's like, or just even like letting me hear like probably
Hmm.
like the thousands, millions of beats he already got. Like I'm with it. Yeah.
One artist I feel like, because you guys have collabed on like a couple tracks before, but that would be J Words. I feel like you guys just got a crazy sound. She's got just like something like talking about the future. Like she's on.
Yeah.
I
She's
always say she's a
she's a
vanguard
future
kind of
with it.
artist. Yeah,
Yeah.
and like you're I forget, is the track called 300?
Yeah, it's
It's the
called
one.
300.
Yeah, it's the one that is like her like 3-track EP. Nappy Nina's on that, I think. Fucking
Yep.
love that song, and I'm like, fuck, you guys would be so damn good on a full project. So I'm just putting that out there. I would love to see that happen.
Shit, me too, bro. I fuck with Jay Words like her as a producer, like I fuck with her heavy. Like she goes crazy. Like she's like I said, she's like a like you said, she's a vanguard. Like she's definitely pushing that envelope. Somebody that's doing that.
Hmm.
She put a lot of people on there using certain hardware. Like we ain't even gonna name drop it. But yeah, she is a legend. She's a legend for sure. Like we got a couple tracks that aren't out, just like unreleased joints. But I would love to do a project with Jay Words. Like I feel like sometimes like just being caught up, like we're all artists and like sometimes life shit and all that. I don't
Hmm.
know why it hasn't happened yet, but shoot, I'm with it. I'm with it. I would be down to do that. I feel like that's something that definitely can still happen in the future. Like I fuck with
Hmm.
Jay Words heavy. That's the homie.
Yeah. All right, man. This has been a great convo. I want to end it with just kind of giving you a chance to spotlight anything that fans should expect from you in the new year.
Okay, man. This your boy Master Concept Jackson, man. You already know what it is, man. I'm fucking with y'all. Y'all fucking with me. Fuck with everybody that fuck with me, man. I love y'all for real. Shit. Uh, HTR Volume 1, Legend of Tawny Tone out right now. We got videos, more videos coming out. 7 Cups of Blood video out right now.
Oh,
Rasta
sick.
Pasta video that's coming out next. The video for Rasta Pasta. Trying to work on a video for the Cell Phones joint, the Twami track.
Mm.
Um, the Real Niggas video. Trying to get a couple videos in there. We definitely trying to work on the Chamber video. And then we'll probably move on with that, but we're gonna keep that in y'all face for now. Shoot, me and Sadu Gold, we have a project coming out real
Mm.
soon. It's all done. It's I think it's gonna release on Goodfellas, the label. But yeah, we made something like on the whim last year, and then yeah, it's hard though, and we're gonna put that out soon. So be on the lookout for that. And then I'm in the works with a lot of other producers, just working on shit right now. I'm just building the vault back up now. So shoot, yeah, we just keeping it going, just working on video shit, just trying to do all the behind the scenes shit to make sure the rollouts and everything like that is right. So you can get to as many eyes as possible.
Yeah, that's sick, man. I'm super excited, and thank you for coming on. I just can't get enough of your music, and I feel like a lot of people are interested. I was talking to an artist earlier last week, and they're like, "You're like the only artist they genuinely listen to, and they don't really get how you're rapping." Like, and that's the
Yeah,
one of the highest compliments. So I'll leave it with that. Hope you have a
for
good rest
real.
of your Sunday, and keep doing you.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, peace.
Peace, bro.
So there we have it, another episode of the Rap Music Plug podcast presented by QLC TV. I hope this episode gave you some new perspectives and insights into what the greatest art form known to man in hip hop music has to offer. If you want to support the show in the most meaningful way possible, it would be my absolute honor to have you as a patron in the new Rap Music Plug podcast Patreon. Through this Patreon, you will be getting exclusive content such as bonus episodes, exclusive album recommendations, exclusive playlists, early access to episodes, and more. And above all, though, you will be able to support the show directly in a way that will not only justify the crazy amount of time I spend on this show already, but allow me to cover some of the expenses related to supporting all of these great artists that we cover on the show through the website, and will allow us to sustain and build on this amazing growth that the RMPP has experienced recently. Big shout out to Dano of Free Music Empire, Levi, Mahima, Jeff, Mitch, Dash Lewis, Pancake Cleaner, Trey, Noah, Justin, Brandon, Joe, Gavin, Matt, Teddy Faley, Jackson, CN, Slumber Logic, Fatman Tomb, and Khalid for your generous support through the Patreon. I really appreciate it. So if you have any questions about any of the Patreon stuff, or just want to keep tabs on the show, interact with me on rap music and all the great stuff that we can talk about, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at rapmusicplugpod, or shoot me an email at qlctv.podcast@gmail.com. You can also rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify as well. But that's enough self-promotion for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Peace.